and welcome to SBN News. I'm Kendra, the Head of Community at SBN.
And I'm Scott, the Head of Marketing here at SBN.
Yesterday, we hosted our Business and Burns event in partnership with the Scottish Government and SDI in US. We were delighted to welcome an audience of over 700 as we celebrated the deep connections between the US and Scotland. During the event, we heard discussions of a modern, innovative, inclusive and socially conscious Scotland. The sessions focused on topics such as the life sciences, social enterprise, sustainability, and the critical importance of inclusivity. If you missed any of the conversations yesterday, these are now available via replay on businessandburns.scot.
Yes, aside from the exciting Business and Burns event, there's been plenty of news rounding up this week. And some of the most exciting news of the year, we officially announced the opening of our first international office. Thanks to the hard work of the SBN team and some key ambassadors like Fraser Greer, Ian Houston and Lorraine Bell, we officially opened an office in New York. The US is the largest international export market for Scottish products and services, and with this next step of our growth, we're hoping to support more Scottish organisations access that market. It wasn't just us in the news this week though. Blockchain technology partners also had some US expansion as they announced a partnership with US cybersecurity company Takeon. Glencraft Luxury Mattresses also found themselves in some good company as they featured in Vogue magazine as the features editor looked at the Monarch mattress in their What We're Loving This Week feature. Andrew Morrison went LinkedIn Live yesterday as he sat down with an interview with Ian Houston. You can connect with Andrew on LinkedIn to watch a replay of that interview and also catch all of his upcoming ones. And the Can Do Collective officially announced their new convener, Hazel Jane. The Entrepreneur Engagement Manager for Tech Nation will harness her global expertise to drive the collective forward and help build Scotland's future. There's also some upcoming events you should check out. SBN member and previous guest on this show, Claire Alexander of the Africa Scotland Business Network, announced their first event of 2021, which is going to be covering cybersecurity and what you need to know to protect your business. CivTech have their Demo Week 5.0 next Tuesday, which our Chairman Russell will be speaking at. And we also have a couple of events on February 16th. Our Lunch and Learn series with Scotland House continues, this time with R. Michael Anderson, as he will be covering the 12 principles for reshaping how we lead in the next normal and also the beyond. The event is for SBN and Scotland House members only, but if you want to learn more about this, Michael covers it extensively in his new book, and you can find details about how to access that in the link below. Later on the 16th, we have our Scottish Business Network Showcase event, where we invite 3 Scottish business leaders to talk about their growing businesses and share their unique ask, which will help them continue to scale. This is a members-only event where they help support these businesses in their scaling journeys. And again, you can find details of that below. But that's all the things that are coming up. Now let's go for the main event of this show, some interviews.
Yeah, and we're delighted to firstly welcome Fiona McKinnon, CEO and co-founder at the Moment Company. Hello, Fiona.
Hi, Kendra. Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you guys?
Good, thanks for asking.
Good.
So can we kick off by asking you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the Moment Company and its mission?
Sure. So I'm Fiona McKinnon and I am the CEO and co-founder of Moment Company. At Moment Company, we create products and experiences that help people really stop and take a moment and really address that constant emotion that we all have right now, and that's one of stress and anxiety. And particularly in the times that we're living in, that's something that people are finding increasingly difficult to do. We have pressures from all number of areas now, you know, that work-home balance has very much merged together, and then you add in homeschooling pressures onto that, and people are really suffering from a lot of stress and anxiety right now. And a survey last year that the government did showed that only 1% of people said they didn't suffer stress in their workplace last year. So it's clearly a huge problem, and it's those small moments of stress that become cumulative over time that really kind of add to, you know, dis-ease, which really then begins to begins to impact your physical as well as your emotional state. And that's where people start to find that, illnesses can kind of creep in over time. So what we do at Moment Company is offer people a way to really kind of find easy ways to stop and take a moment, because we think, oh gosh, another thing that I have to add into my day to remember to do. And so that's why we really champion moments. So in as little as 30 seconds, we all have the opportunity to stimulate our vagus nerve, to calm our body down, and just to take a moment of peace and relaxation. So that's what we're about. We're about promoting those moments of calm.
That's absolutely amazing. And as you say, we're in this different landscape at the moment that we're all trying to maneuver around, bringing our work into our homes. And it's like those moments that you mentioned, like time away from devices and the notifications, because it's hard at the moment when you have your space set up in your home environment as well. So definitely want to hear more about the positive effects of that method and how it works. Can you tell us a bit more about that, Fiona?
Sure. So, I mean, the idea behind Moment Company really came from me and the two other founders experiencing all of this firsthand. And everybody's experience of stress is very different. For me, it was a physical impact, years and years and years of burnout and flying all over around the world. My body just gave up and my immune system was suppressed. For one of my other co-founders, it was his memory. He literally lost his mind, he says, his short-term memory completely went. And for the other co-founder, he found that he was listening to Headspace and Calm, the apps, but you're immediately on your phone, which is often your source of stress. And what he found was great. It worked when he had 20 minutes to spare and he actually could sit down. But what he was missing was just an ability and a reminder to take a moment throughout the day. So what we have developed is a physical product away from your phone. It's called the Moment Pebble, and it feels and weighs and acts in your hand just like a pebble you would expect to feel. It's made out of stone powder, except the difference is that ours has a breathing sequence which is programmed into it. And so you gently breathe in for the count of 5 as the light comes up, and out for the count of 5 as it dims. And that sequence is called cardiac coherent breathing. And it's proven to, as I said earlier, stimulate your vagus nerve, which controls all parts of your body and mind, immediately calms down your heart rate and allows you just to kind of feel that wave of relaxation. So it's extremely easy to do. Anyone can do it. And it's embedded in 3 principles: the breath, which is hugely powerful; mindfulness, not to be confused with mindless, which is our scrolling, and mindful, which is the crazy. But mindfulness is just about being present 100% in that moment, in whatever you're doing. So just simply, I just find kind of sometimes just look at the pebble and take your mind off whatever it was you're doing. And just that simple couple of seconds is enough to take your brain away from the craziness that it was experiencing and into a different state. And then the final part is embedded in the physical attachment. So something we're drawn to at birth, you can have obviously comfort from friends, from family, from loved ones, but you can also find comfort in objects. You all have your favorite mug or a piece of jewelry that you love, or a favorite jumper, or whatever it might be, and you create an emotional attachment to it. And that in itself creates a soothing and emotive kind of response in your body. And so we've coupled all of those 3 things together. And our initial, we've just launched, so our initial feedback from customers is that it's helping with everything from stress all the way through to PTSD, insomnia, because it pulses, the nice light is calming when people go to bed at night. It's helping calm children down who are having tantrums when they don't want to do their homeschooling, which is great. Go off and have a moment, be mindful. And also through to some more serious mental health challenges, from things like hair pulling and PTSD and ADHD, where people who suffer from those challenges find it difficult to be at rest. And so having something that's an active mindfulness technique actually helps them more than just being told to sit quietly. So these are all practices that are proven from centuries ago to work, and we've embedded them all in one product.
Multiple benefits.
You can tell I can talk for days about.
No, that was
really,
fantastic.
Really passionate about, you know, how simple it is, and that's really the key. You don't have to be wired up to technology. You know how you feel, and it's just about you being able to tap into that whenever you feel the need to, and feel the difference between the stress state and the calm state, and go, I kind of like that. I want to do it again. And it's really about that consistency. You know, you think about buying a Peloton or fitness equipment and putting it in the corner of your room, never getting on it, but expecting it to get you fit. You've got to be active. You've got to be in it. You've got to do it every day, and you've got to feel the benefit and get excited about it, but also have that variety. You know, if you think of Peloton, you've got different instructors, different things you can do to get fit. It's the same with your mind. Mental fitness is exactly the same thing. And we actually have a course that goes with the Pebble that introduces lots of different concepts, from mindfulness to breath work to journaling, writing things down, that can all help people just find whatever resonates with them and keeps them on that right track.
Well, Fiona, you can see how passionate you are about the product. And I like that there is that physical element, as you mentioned, because often your phone is to the side of you and you pick up that for, like you say, that kind of mindless scrolling, because you think that's a bit of an escape, but it's not. But having that physical product that you pick up and reminds you to take a moment is really kind of powerful in that. And I loved how you just showed us it lighting up, because I felt myself doing the breaths as you were.
Well, I don't know if you'd humour me, but do you want to have, because I can show you, the best way to explain what we do is to show you. Do you want to do like a quick...
Yeah, do a wee short demonstration.
So the thing is, the Pebble is the physical reminder, and sometimes, as I say, I just hold it, but we've all got the power to feel the benefits just sitting where we are right now. So if you want, just gently close your eyes. I'm going to do it too. And if you put your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your belly, and just kind of breathe and notice how you're breathing at the moment. So I notice that I'm breathing into the top half of my body, into my chest, and we take 22,000 breaths a day. Incredible, isn't it? And most of those are probably not deep, mindful breaths. So what we want to do is actually breathe into our bellies, not into our chest. So next time you inhale, try and push your hand that's next to your belly away and feel your stomach inflate. And then as you breathe out through your mouth, feel that hand and your belly drop back down again. So inhale, push your stomach away. Exhale, let it drop back down. One last time, inhale, push that hand away that's next to your belly. Exhale, drop it back down. Can you feel that you just feel a little bit calmer than you did 30 seconds ago? And open your eyes. And it's as simple as that.
Well, thanks for giving our audience and our team a moment that you've been describing. That was fantastic. And your voice is so calming, Fiona. So you're right.
Thank you. I've been told I put people to sleep, which is not what you normally want to hear when you talk. But when you're doing guided meditation, it's great to hear that you make people nod off.
So what's the vision for 2021 and beyond? And can we support you in any way with these ambitions?
Yes, thanks, Kendra. Our vision really is to share our message as wide as possible, and to really enable people to understand they have this power to stop and take a moment for themselves. And that really is the ultimate goal, is to have moments ingrained into people's day-to-day lives. So we have a direct-to-consumer website, which is momentcompany.co. So if you want to learn more about what we're doing, take a look there. And we also are helping corporations as well. So helping employees with day-to-day stress management, but also exec teams. So when we were building the business last year, we use grounding meditations before we start a strategy session. So visualization, breathing techniques, openness, mindfulness are all great things to bring into your day-to-day business as well. So again, we'd love to hear from anybody at SBN in their community that would like to learn more about how they can introduce that into their business, as well as into their own daily practice. And then a final wee ask, if I can, and that is that we're just going through our final raise of fundraising. And so we just have a small amount of our SEIS business to close. So if anyone's interested in getting into the mindfulness, meditation and wellness space, then again, just reach out to me directly. But I'd love to, share some more sessions over time and answer any questions everyone's got about bringing that into the workplace.
Well, thank you, Fiona, for joining us. And we'll put your contact details in the description as well, and encourage people that have been watching to get in touch with you. So thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we'll hear from you again soon.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers. Bye now.
Thanks so much for that, Fiona. I'm feeling very invigorated, actually. Yeah. That worked a treat. So I'm delighted to welcome our next guest, Simon Bergenroth.
Hi, Scott.
Hi there, Simon. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm really well, actually. Yeah, I mean, for January, which is normally quite a blue month, I'm feeling quite buoyed and quite excited naturally, having just launched the company. So yeah, lots of good things to look forward to for this year.
Yeah, so about that, you are a professional coach who recently launched their own business. Can you tell us a little bit about Simon Bergenroth Executive Coaching?
I'd love to. So I provide measurable and effective leadership coaching in a one-to-one bespoke coaching format. And I actually kind of started the business with a vision and an aim to help people achieve better performance and professional success, and help them tell a different professional story to the one that they're kind of currently owning for the moment. I kind of work most effectively with mid to senior level leaders from across a wide range of industry sectors. My background is kind of marketing and communications, which I know that you're going to touch on in a bit. But yeah, I've kind of worked in that industry for about 20 years. So there's lots of kind of skills around kind of management of people and really getting on with different people that I kind of bring to my coaching. Given obviously sort of COVID and lockdown rules, I've been providing my coaching 100% online, which is working really well for each other. And there's actually been a real kind of boom in the industry over the last year with regards to coaching online. So that's great. But I can also meet kind of socially distanced clients to do that face-to-face, and also do that outdoors as well, which is another kind of trend in the kind of coaching space. Importantly, I'm a fully accredited coach with the Institute of the Leadership and Management, which means that clients can have peace of mind that they'll be coached by someone that's professional in the field. And the coaching industry, I don't know if you're aware, is still unregulated. So, pretty much anyone could call themselves a coach. But what I've done is I've taken myself off, done this accreditation just to ensure that I'm kind of professionally trained and can help people with their challenges.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that intro. So one of the things you did point out is that some of these mid to senior level people who are trying to maybe tell a different story of their career journey, it might reflect a little bit on yourself, because you had a successful career in marketing. So what drove you to move into coaching?
That's an interesting story, and one we don't really have enough time to tell the full story, but happy to have a conversation with anyone that's interested offline to kind of fill them in. But yeah, I kind of studied marketing at Oxford Brookes University, got a first there, and then moved into the marcoms industry, and worked for almost 20 years across both kind of agency side and client side. I've worked on some fairly major brands like Nestle and Kit Kat and Nescafe and those kind of things. But basically what happened was that there was a fairly major transition after a major health scare that I had at the end of 2017. And I was actually in Miami at the time. And the kind of short story is that I was actually diagnosed with bipolar, which is a mood disorder. And obviously, you know, something like that happening, it's fairly pivotal part of your life. And that really kind of forced me to reevaluate my kind of professional and personal life, resulting in me really kind of doing a lot of soul searching in terms of figuring out, you know, where do I add a lot of value? Where do I, you know, what's my kind of niche with in terms of the value that I deliver? And a lot of that was focused around people development. You know, I'd had direct reports and various people that I kind of trained up and moved through the kind of region of marketing. I was also a great problem solver. So it was really kind of important for me that I picked up something that was going to kind of work well in terms of my professional aims. And actually executive coaching ticked all those boxes, you know, in terms of a new direction. And what I'm able to do, as I said before, is kind of use my natural people skills, my affinity to get and kind of build rapport very, very quickly and trust with, you know, people on very senior levels. I've done a lot of work with kind of C-suite and board members in my kind of marketing career, to really build that spirit of trust and openness around the challenges that the clients might be facing. So for me, it's all about, you know, getting people to where they want to go. And I just really love how coaching focuses on creating that environment for a client to think well for themselves and devise their own action plan. And what I often say is that when you view me, you know, in terms of hiring me, you know, you bringing me on as a thinking partner, you know, I'm going to ask you some good questions, some challenging questions, and really kind of open up that area. But for me, it's all around kind of devising the action plan. So that's the short story, Scott.
It's eye-opening as well. It sort of shows the passion you've got for it. So as you say, you're now fully accredited. The business is launched. The world's your oyster. What have you got planned for 2021?
So 2021 is really obviously establishing the business. I've just launched literally a couple of weeks ago. So I'm naturally on a new business drive at the moment. Really kind of, you know, doing things like this. I did a podcast yesterday for a great app called OK Positive, and what I'm trying to do is trying to get the word out there that obviously people have known me for my marketing career, but I've made this move and this transition into coaching. So it's about getting my name out there, you know, business development, you know, networking, obviously with people, you know, within the SBN and other networks that I belong to, and actually all my activity in terms of content that I'm generating and sort of background actually lives on the LinkedIn platform. So it's very easy to find me, Simon Bergenroth. You just type that into Google or into LinkedIn. I'm the only one in the planet with that name. It's quite a different name, Bergenroth. So you'll be able to find me there, and I've got some content up there already. I've written a piece to really help people maximize the benefit from executive coaching. So I've got a free guide on there at the moment. And I'm pretty confident that, you know, if I play the long game, you know, keep putting out content that's valuable. I do these kind of short videos as well, just kind of quick tips and hints around kind of coaching and leadership. You know, I think that I can really kind of cut through and help more leaders and build my client base, obviously into next year and beyond.
Well, what we'll do, we'll link to some of those pieces on your LinkedIn in the description of this video, and hopefully this episode can sort of add to the noise that you're making and getting the name out there, Simon. So thank you very much for joining us. I look forward to seeing what comes next, and we'll hopefully have you back on again in the future to talk about how things are going. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks
for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Well, that was a delight to hear from Fiona and Simon, and to also take a moment with Fiona. Thanks for her demonstration. I hope the audience enjoyed that. As I mentioned earlier, yesterday we hosted our Business and Burns event. You can catch the replays on businessandburns.scot.
And to round off this week's episode, we're going to hear a poem read by SBN members, partners, and other speakers from the Business and Burns event. Enjoy.
Sensibility, how charming.
Thou, my friend, canst truly tell,
but distress with horrors arming.
Thou hast also known too well.
Fairest flower, behold the lily,
blooming in the sunny ray.
Let the blast sweep o'er the valley.
See it prostrate on the clay. Hear the woodlark charm the forest.
Toiling o'er his little joys.
Hapless bird, a prey the surest.
To each pirate of the skies.
Dearly bought, the hidden treasure.
Finer feelings can bestow.
Chords that vibrate, sweetest pleasure.
Thrill, the deepest notes of woe.